God bless our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong. Today is another beautiful Monday here on Bullet Television, 1st June 2026. And this is Behind the Evidence. And of course, my name is Maxwell Mensah. And a couple of things are happening today. We want to champion our energy, everything on the LGBTQI plus bill passed by Ghana Parliament last week. Many people are making some claims, allegations, and others about it. But the first question that we need to ask ourselves is that where does this philosophy or the act, which is the LGBTQI plus, coming from? Where does it come from? Who initially propounded the philosophers and theories and other people? Who are they? And a couple of stories that we need to understand why the bill, or when it's being assented by the president, when it officially becomes the law, it is going to help the country, and it's really important. Despite some allegations or critiques the minority and other people are making about the bill, the relevance of this bill or the law and how it's going to help the country to fight against the global pressure in terms of the theories of the LGBTQ. There are a whole lot of things that probably you do not know, and today we are going to expose everything to you from the global north to the global south, including Ghana, and why, as I said, the bill is going to play a crucial role in our development as a country. We'll take this short, quick break. When we come, we will continue. Understand this. There's a whole lot of things that we can talk about. Now, let's look at 2026 payments. The government, as I said, the government has made some payments. In fact, let me pick this caller. Caller, good evening. Your name and where you're calling out from? Caller, good evening. Your name and where you're calling out from? All right, let's hear from you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Fred, speaking from Tasoma.
Right.
This is very educative, and I'm impressed by your presentation. And I believe that your media team should carry it on to share among all the platforms so that we, the young ones, can take this mantle on ourselves to make sure the government know what is going on, because every sector has to be. We have to break down such analysis, pick a topic like what you have done tonight. I'm so proud of you. As I sit here in my room watching you, I've been smiling throughout your presentation. God, this is very educative. You break it down for us to know what is going on in the sector. And now every individual, the youth, can now understand the reasons why there's a burden on 2026. So we have to take this one, push it out there. I think all the media should start to learn from this. Than doing all this propaganda, doing all this political games and this, it's not going to help. Because the truth of the matter is, this is the reality. This is the reality. You have to face it. You pick something. You make sure everybody gets to it. I'm proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you too. And right, so thank you for staying with us, and that's part of the job that we are supposed to do. And as I told you today, we are looking at the LGBTQI plus. There's a whole lot of conspiracy around this particular bill, or the activities, the LGBT activities, and also why Ghana, we have taken such bold decision. Global tensions, they are seeing a couple of things, and economy is going to be jeopardized because these people, they have money, and they are going to take their money from our system, or they are not going to help us. But can Ghana sustain amidst all the pressure that it's coming on us? But that's just aside. Let's look at the law or the bill or the activities itself. When we talk about LGBTQI plus and plus, in fact, there are many. There are many, and the revelation will shock you. Let's start now. So today I got this information on one of the stations in Ghana here, from City, says that Kabonu Kabonu. This one is the former, he's a former NAT president, I mean the National Association of Graduates and Teachers of the country, NAT former president. So he's really one of the prominent people as far as education is concerned. And this is what he said. I was offered money to allow LGBTQI plus content in education documents. I was offered money to allow these practices into content like that into our education system when he was the NAT president. So, you know, they make a lot of publications to help teachers and documents, syllables, and others to use to teach the student, the people, and for everybody involved as far as education is concerned. And he's claiming that during his administration, people probably align with LGBTQ activities or people who practice such try to offer him some money to put in some content that we do not like as a country, that's the LGBTQ, into some of the documents or syllables. So it is really worrying. And how are we living as people as far as now the government is also concerned? Now, this is LGBTQ. In fact, the shortest one that you can say is LGBTQ, but it's a whole abbreviation of itself. It's a LGBTQIAAP, and they all has a meaning that they play within gender and other related issues. Now, the first one talks about lesbian. Let's try to see lesbian. Maybe this is not something that you have not heard before. The L stands for lesbian, meaning ladies being with ladies. They have an affair. They are into ladies. So a woman liking a woman sexually and also romantically. So basically that's for what the L represents. And the B, also a man who is primarily attracted to men. Sometimes a broad term for individuals attracted to the same sex. So a man also liking a man. So a man love a man. So basically that's for the gay. So lesbian, a woman for a woman, and the gay for a man to a man. Now we have B. B is bisexual. Bisexual talks about an individual attracted to people of their own and also opposite gender. So bisexual is someone who is a man and the man likes another man, but at the same time likes woman. So the person plays around all the genders, and at the same time a woman likes woman, at the same time liking a man. So someone is a bisexual will be someone who loves both man and woman, regardless the person's gender. Yes, so that's for bisexual. Now the T is a transgender. Now most of the times we interchanges with the transgender and also transsexual, and there's a difference between transgender and transsexual. If you look at the first T, a person whose gender identity differs from their assigned sex at birth. And this is where there's a problem. This thing, you can clearly see that we have a similar situation within our societies. And we get to know that we are everything is involved about gender. And we need to understand what is gender. We'll get to that. So it's saying that a person whose gender identity differs from their assigned sex at birth. So as today I'm standing here, you see me that the moment they gave birth to me, they say you are a man, you are a boy, because I have some features and qualities that qualify me to be ascribed as a man. Now, it will get to a time I will say that no, I want to be a woman. So don't call me a man, call me a woman. So I just change my identity or my sex gender to become a woman. So I feel like I am a woman. Probably I may be, the way I talk, the way I do my things will look like someone who is a woman. But you can see that I have the physical features of a man, despite I may do one or two things to symbolize that I am a female. So the person will try to say that, no, I'm a female, so don't refer me as a female. I prefer to be a male. So the moment the person will set such a gender, then the person can use it as an emotionally. Because the moment you see yourself that I am a man, but call me a female, so I am a female. Then the person will go for another man, and then I will be a female. Then I'll go for another man who will be my husband or my boyfriend. You understand? So that's basically what transgenders do. Now let's see the transsexual also. This is somehow outmoded within the scientific world, and in terms of psychological and also community, for people who have permanently changed their gender identity through surgery and also hormones. And so for transsexual are people who have changed their identity. So I am a man. It's not by verbal saying that I want to be a woman, which is the transgender. But for transsexual, they will change completely. So they will go for surgery and they will change them to become, a man will become like a woman, and a woman will also be like a man. So for transsexual, you will change completely to the opposite gender or sex. So that's the difference between the transgender and also transsexual. For transgender, verbally, I will say that I am a man, but I want to be a woman. So see me as a woman. I will do things as a woman, both emotional, psychological, physical, and all those stuffs. Now, for transsexual, I will change completely to become a woman, and a woman will also become a man. So that is basically for transsexual. And also we have the queer. Then the queer is an umbrella term to be more inclusive of the many identities and also variation that make up the LGBTQI+ community. So for this person who will either be like, oh, I am a man, then today the person will tend to be a woman. I just play all the roles. Today I am a man, tomorrow I want to be a woman. I have my right to determine that. So they play all the role. Anytime they can change to become any gender that they want to do. And also for questioning. So the questioning most of the time also happens within our localities. Now for questioning, there is the process of exploring and also discovering one's own sexual orientations, gender identity, and also gender expressions. In all, you can see there's a one word passing through all the alphabet that we are talking about, all these kinds of identities, gender. Now, for questioning, the person always questions himself or herself that, who am I? I don't know who actually I am. Am I a man or am I a woman? And the person doesn't know who he or she is. So for questioning, they always ask the process, who am I? They don't believe that they are man or woman. So they always have doubts in them. So we have people like that. According to this organization or this group, they say that we have people like that who always question themselves. So they have to be part of their association or their activities. Now we have intersex, an individual whose sexual anatomy or chromosomes do not fit with the traditional makers of the female and male. So we have other people too who are being born. You will not see them being as a man or a woman. They are intermediates. They are just standing at a point. So for an example is that you see some people, they will give birth to maybe twins, and they are together. And when you go, we find their sexual parts and others, you can clearly see that maybe they are not having either the female genital part or the male genital part. And sometimes it is rare, it is normal in some of the communities. So these people are people who are having doubts and their intersection. They don't know whether they are male or they are females, and they are also part of this organization. Then we have the ally. Ally, a group of people who are aligned with this, all people who practices these activities that we are talking about. So for ally, I may be organization, but I speak for them. I advocate for them as a human right. They have their right to do that, and clearly you can see, or maybe you have seen a lot of organizations in Ghana here. When the bill was being first introduced, they came out to say they should drop the bill. President shouldn't assign. You can name them, those NGOs and others. So they are allied. They are not practicing the LGBT activities, but they advocate for them. Then we have the asexual. So asexual are also individuals who generally does not feel sexual desire. So we have people that they don't also feel any sexual desire either to have sex or not. So these are people, they are just there normal. they don't feel for woman, they don't feel for man. So naturally, this is what they claim that God created them to be. So in a situation where these people are there and we don't value them, they have to join these kinds of organization or this association. So basically, this is what they are saying. People who are there without any feelings, they call them asexual. And also we have the pansexual. For the pansexual is any person who experience sexual, romantic, physically, and or spiritual attraction to members of all gender activities. So pansexual also both physically and spiritually, they have affection for all the gender, just like the one that I told you, the queer. So you can clearly see that for pansexual, they have feelings for man. If a man has a feeling for a man, the same man has a feeling for woman. So that's basically how these people operate. And also for a woman having an affair or maybe a feeling for a woman and at the same time for a man. So that is they are also part. And at the same time for animals. So not even an animal. Some people will say that I just want to marry a tree. I want to marry a sea, even air. They feel like that. I have love for maybe spirit. I have love for maybe a tree. I want to marry a tree. I want to marry my dog. I want to marry the cats. So they have varieties of feelings for a couple of things around the world. So these are the kinds of people that we are talking about. So when we talk about LGBTQI+, this is what we mean, is LGBTQIAAP. So basically, this is what we mean. Now, let's see. As I told you, we have the LGBTQI as a simple term. In a basic and normal understanding, this symbol clearly shows sex. So the moment they give birth to you, you are at the point of sex. So this is where the doctor or your family will say that, oh, yawu be man na yawu oba in tree. We have given birth to a man or a female. So you can clearly see here. So the blue one and the symbol clearly represents a male born, and the red one also represents a female. And this is basically what Ghana and what our norms and values prescribed or we are using. Basically, if you go to all the houses or most of the households in Ghana here, basically we are all into this, male and female. But there's another way, gender. Now, we are talking about gender. We'll be coming to why gender is very necessary in this analysis or context. Now, gender identity. Gender means it's a point where the person will perceive he or herself in a situation by saying that, who am I? Me, I am not a man, I am not a female. Where should I be? Should I be myself? Should I love air? Should I have an affair with animal? Or I am not a man, I am not a woman. Or I am a man, let me be a woman. So the person socially will try to perceive him or herself and tell people that now call me this, now see me this way. So gender is where the society will give you another identity aside your sex. So sex is what basically the natural form that God gave it to you. And Ghana here, what we see is what we call you. But when we talk about gender, we are talking about when you go outside from the birthplace, then we come to the world or society, how they also see you. So in P, there's this word, you may see that the person is a male but acts like a woman. So the society will try to term the person like to wait, a man who behaves like a female or something like that. And apparently the person may also believe and see that, oh, well, though I am a man, they say that I am a man, I am a male, but the way I am, no, I have qualities of female, so let me have an affair with female. So in society, the gender will change you. So there's a difference between sex and gender. Sex is what, at the point of time where they give birth to you and they call you a man or a woman or a male or female. And a gender is when you come to the society, how they identify you, how you see yourself, and how you move, you do your things emotionally, psychologically, and physically and other stuff. So this is basically the difference between sex and gender. So you can see this here where the person is really thinking, where should I belong? Should I call myself a woman or a man? Despite initially the person see him or herself as a man. But here, at the point of gender identification, the person is considering other factors. Should I see myself as an animal? Should I see myself as an air? Should I see myself as a woman? So this is basically what we are talking about in the concept of LGBT. Those people, their ideologies. So as I told you, basically this is how we see females. So the symbol, this symbol represents female, and their color, basically we see them as a female. And this one also represents male. So anytime you see this kinds of symbol, and this one, we see that as a male. But in a society where the person will be in the middle becomes transgender. So the T play a crucial role, transgender, where the person will see him or herself that I have some qualities of the other sex or gender, so I prefer to be in that particular portion. So this is where the person will be thinking a lot. So you can see the person is canceling me being a male or female. So this portion here, clearly the person is, maybe he might be a male, but says that no, I don't see myself as a male. And this person will be thinking that, oh, I'm a female, but I don't see myself as a female. So this is the point where the person will try and call him or herself, I am a transgender. Because the person doesn't see him or herself as any of these genders that we are talking about, as a male or female. So the person will call him or herself as a transgender, and the person tried to use this symbol. Now the symbol will change into this. So initially, this is the first symbol for a man or for a female, and this one for a woman. For a man, and the first one for a woman. Now the person will try to be in the midst and be confused and complicated with issues, and decide to call him or herself as a transgender and change the symbol into both man and woman. So this is how these people think, and that it really helps for us to understand. In fact, we have a couple of symbols. You can clearly see here, we have a lot of symbols here, and they all represent people identity. So it really represents people identities. We have a lot of them here, a lot. You can mention a lot of them here. So if you come to the bottom here, we have gay, we have heterogeneous or heterosexual, we have lesbian, we have the bisexual. And clearly, if you see the last bottom here, we have the symbol for bisexual, and we have the lesbian symbol. We have the first on the top. From the top, you can see that the first one is for the female symbol, the second one is the male symbol, of which Ghana, we only identify these two symbols representing male and female. The rest here are not recognized within the country. So you cannot use any of these in Ghana here. But these are some of the identities that people are using globally or in other places. We have a gay and all those stuff, third gender, we have allied gender, we have Dilimigirl, Dilimiboy, big gender. It's a whole lot, asexual and all those stuff. They are here. These are all identities. People see themselves as that. So based on this, Ghana, we only have two, the first one and the second one. The rest are just for the other people. And this is what we call the LGBTQI+ and the others here. Now let's see. So these are all some of the identities people are talking about, seeing themselves into. There are so many. There are so many. Ghana, we only have two, the male and female. But if you go to others and the LGBT, their philosophies, they have a lot. They have a lot. You can identify yourself any way and anyhow that you want to be. So these are some of the symbols to note whenever you get approached to them. I told you that we have differences between the gender and others. Now, let's look at the difference between gender and others. Gender is playing a crucial role, and this is why it is important for us to understand what is gender itself. Now, let's go to World Health Organization, of which Ghana, we are under World Health Organization. It clearly defines gender, though there are a couple of theories and others that they say that there's no clear definition for gender. But let's see what World Health Organization is saying. It says that gender refers to the characteristics of women, men, girls, and boys that are socially constructed. These include norms, behaviors, and roles associated with being a woman, man, girl, or boy, as well as relationships with each other. As a social construct, gender varies from society to society and can change over time. So this is what they are saying. So for gender, gender is just like sex. The sex, as I told you, is the initial identity they give it to you as a man or a female. Now, gender is what the social also give it to you, the social constructs. When you come to this world, when you come to the society, how they also see you. So it's either the society will also see you as a man or female. So which one have you subscribed as a country? In Ghana here, Ghana, we say that in your private or at the point of time that they give birth to you, you are a man or a female. When we come to the society, the social construct too, we need to identify you as a man or a woman. So in the social world, how do we identify ourselves in Ghana here? Now let's see others. Gender interacts with but. Gender interacts with but is different from sex. So I told you gender is different from sex. So which refers to the different biological and also psychological characteristics of females, males and intersex persons, such as chromosomes and humors and reproductive organs. Gender and sex are related but different from gender identity. Gender identity is to a person deployed felt, internal and also individual experience of gender, which may or may not correspond to the person's psychology or designated sex at birth, as I told you. So the person will see that I have some characteristics that it doesn't qualify me to be a woman, despite I am a woman. So now, and let me go into a manhood. I want to be a man. I don't want to be a woman. I want to be a man because I don't see myself in such category. So this is at the point where the person will try to identify him or herself within the social construct as a different identity, despite having, because of like as is being clearly stated, chromosomes, the genes within the person, the way the person talks, the way the person acts, the way the person walks. The person is a male, but whenever the person is walking, the person will walk like a woman. When the person is talking, the gestures and all those stuff clearly will tell you that this person is a man, but he does his things like a woman. We've been seeing them in our schools and on the street, at workplaces and others. It is normal because it is part of their body. You understand? But the time will come, the person will see that, okay, so far as I see myself as a woman, though I am a man, then let me be a woman. Then so the moment the person realizes that, okay, I want to be a woman, then what will the person do? If the person wants to have sexual affairs, the person will obviously go for the same kind of person who he or she is. So a man seeing himself as a woman will still go for a man because he has identified himself as a woman. So he will go for a man at the same time. That's why a man will try to be with a man, and one will say that I am the woman, and the other person will say that I am the male. So this is how it happens within the LGBT. Now, gender influence people's experience of the access to healthcare and others also here. If we come to the last, it says that health services should be affordable, accessible, and also acceptable to all. And they should be provided with the quality and others. So any gender person, regardless how you see yourself, you should be having access to healthcare, and they have to help you with all those stuff. This is what the World Health Organization is talking about. Now, if you come to Ghana here, we have a whole ministry. It says the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. So what? What type of gender are we in Ghana here? Do we have constitutional clause or subject which clearly states that we only have two genders? Mind you, there are two different things we are talking about. We have sex. The sex is you at the point of birth, you being called as a man or a woman or male or female. When we come to gender, gender is the social, the way you live in the society. So this is why we call you a gender. So initially I was a man, but I will see myself as a woman, and I will do everything as a woman because this is how I feel. That's gender. Now, Ghana, we have a whole ministry of gender. So what are they doing within the gender? Have we defined our gender? If we want to have the LGBTQI plus bill or to become a law to ban people from having LGBTQ, then the country, we need to clearly define our gender. If our constitution doesn't clearly define gender, then anyone can do that. Though if you have your law or your bill to ban LGBT, but you don't have your definition as a gender, because gender is broad. Gender goes beyond the two, male and female, because gender allows people to identify themselves in a different form. So if we have a whole ministry of gender, children and social affairs, then what is our definition for the gender? Have we ever described the gender within the country in our constitution, that the constitution says that we only have two sex, male and female. We only have two gender, male and female. So whenever you go into the social world, we still see you a male, whether though you are a female or you were a male being born. So if you go to the social world, you see still yourself like that. or we pave way for anybody to determine how they want to see themselves when they go into the social world? Is that what the Ministry of Gender and Social Children Affairs they are doing? Or is that what the country we understand? Have we ever described or explained the meaning of gender to Ghanaians? Or do we have a provision within the Constitution that clearly defines the gender to us? If you don't have, then clearly the bill that we are signing will not be utilized very well. Someone can sue the country because your Constitution not clearly pave way, because you are still practicing gender. You have a whole Ministry of Gender, which meaning that you facilitate gender. So a gender will allow someone to determine how him or she wants to live in the society. Without clearly stating your gender, you can do whatever that you want to do within the social construct. This is what it's talking about. Now, let's see. When you go to their website, this is still under the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. Under their website, you can see their mission and their vision. See how they describe their vision. The vision says that the vision of MOGC, that's the Ministry of Gender and blah, 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 says that it's a harmonious society in which the survival and development of sexes. So have you seen they use the word sexes, which is the initial point. Sexes, children and vulnerable and persons. So they help the development of sexes. And Ghana here we have only two sexes, which is the male and female. So if their vision is to help develop sexes, which is male and female, it is good, fine. Now look at their mission or what they are doing. It says that they exist to contribute to the development of the nation by achieving gender equality. Have you seen? So why didn't they make it sexes equality? So have you seen? They are also using the same two different words, sexes and gender. Sexes talks about male and female, but gender talks about a whole lot of. If we talk about gender, we can have the LGBT people inside. So if you are talking about your mission as a ministry of the country, and you are talking about gender equality, so this is where the people stands and they can sue the country or they can do whatever they want to do. Because they say that you as a country talks about gender equality. Allow people to determine where they want to be. This is basically what it means, gender equality. Because the country, we have accepted gender equality. But if when we talk about the vision of the ministry, it says sexes. So why didn't they replace the sexes here as a sexes equality? But they are saying gender equality. What is gender? What is the difference between sexes and gender as a country? And we want to pass this bill. Meanwhile, we have not clearly stated the meaning of our gender. So this is what the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection is doing. So let's see other stuff within that. There's another definition for gender. You need to understand gender. Gender is very broad. Now, gender identity versus sexual orientation. The difference between them. Now, people outside the LGBTQ community, people who are not part of the LGBT community, and those who are beginning to explore their own gender, often struggle to understand gender identity. It is not easy to identify what is gender. And this is where Ghana, we need to explain what is gender to us. To know gender identity versus sexual orientation and the difference between the two. Some people even falsely assume that the two are linkage. As I told you, they are not the same. They are not the same. They are different. Now, in doing so, they try to intimidate or, invalidate the gender of trans people by suggesting that trans people are simply confused. So have you seen that? These people are saying that most of the time says that people who are practicing LGBT, they are confused, they don't know their rights because of gender. So Ghana, if we have a whole ministry facilitating gender, what is our gender? Have we described or explained vividly when we talk about gender, this is what it means? Have we done that? Because a lot of people find it difficult to understand. It's very broad. So this is what people most of the time talk about when they are describing gender identity. Now, what is gender identity? There's no single way to define gender identity. I told you, there are many gender identities, and each person brings their own flavor within the umbrella of the identity. For that reason, it is useful to understand the concept of gender identity generally as something as personal. Gender identity is how you define yourself in a relation to your own gender. So you have to define your own self. When you are talking about gender, gender means that you have your own right to determine who you want to be. So if Ghana here, we have not described or maybe make it a mandatory that whether your sex is male or female, when you come to the social construct or the social world, still define yourself as a male or female. Do not cross the border. But if we have not done this within any of our rules or the constitution, then everybody will be having the right to determine who they want to be and how they want to be. So a man will say that, no, don't call me a man, or neither call me a woman, call me animal, because this is the gender I am picking for myself. This is the gender I want, because gender gives way for people to determine how they want to be in the society. This is what clearly it's talking about. Now, sex is often referred to as the something more biological and others. So sex is more of biological. The moment they give birth to you, how you identify yourself, the features, the nature will be given to you, or God will be given to you, and how you identify yourself. That's the reason why the moment we give birth to a man, we say this is a man, or this is a boy. In Ghana, this is a lady or a girl. This is how we used to identify. But gender says no. Gender will pave way for you to identify yourself in any way that you want. Now, within the gender, we have pronouns. So pronouns will be like he, she. He, she. Since the beginning of the analysis, we've been seeing me using he, himself, herself, him, and all those stuffs. So within gender, we have pronouns. Someone will say that don't call me he or she, call me they or them. And we have people like that. They are part of the LGBTQ. You'll be seeing their philosophy. So we have pronouns they use to describe a person, which sometimes correlates with some gender. So we have names to represent them, which is the pronouns. A name, which is to represent the actual name. So we use he to represent a man or a male. Then we use she to represent a female and others. So these are some of the pronouns that we use. But beyond the male and female, or he and she, other people also use a couple of pronouns to determine their gender. Now, gender identity versus sexual. So if you look at person identity as gender one, they are saying that gender is not static. Gender is not rigid. Gender changes. So you can see identity one. Identity one, people believe that gender changes. So I am a man. I can be a female tomorrow. Tomorrow then I'll come back to male. Or I don't want to be male or female. I want to be a different gender. I want to see myself in any form. So this is person one. Now if you look at person two identity, they also see themselves differently. They also says that it's a pathway advisor identity more closely with the agenda. During the interview, they explained how they had always identified themselves and labeled themselves. So they also have an agenda. Always they change their identity in any form of life. So this is basically what we are talking about. Now let's see a short list of agenda identity. Let's see some short list for you to see when we talk about agenda, or when we talk about gender, to be agenda. So we have gender. When we talk about gender, what are some of the components or some of the list under that? Now, if you see, we have transgender within that. Transgender. Now, I told you transgender is part of the LGBT. The T in that represent the transgender. Now, we have the non-binary. For non-binary, they say that they are not neither male or female. They are not any of them. So it's part of gender. So that's why I said Ministry of Gender and Social Protection, or Ghana, we need to clearly define our gender. Because if you fail to define the gender, then someone will say that me, I am not a man or female. Or me, too, I am a transgender. Call me a man. I am a woman, but call me a man. Or I am a man, call me a female, or whatever. So it happens like that. And also we have the intersex. Intersex, the I in the LGBTQ, the abbreviation or the acronym, the I in it stands for that. So that's the intersex. They are also there. And we have the agenda. Agenda people are also part. The AAA within the LGBTQ initially that we did. And the others are also here. So we have a lot of identities within the gender. So every state must clearly define how they see agenda. And the bill that Ghana we have passed must clearly define gender to us. Now let's see one or two things within the bill that you have passed, how we see gender in it. If you come to clause 7 and clause 8, it basically says some things about it. It says that if you look at C here, for clause 7C, it says that cross-dressing to portray that the person is of a gender different from the gender determined at birth. So it's saying that we will arrest you, the bill saying that we will arrest you the moment we see you, that you have dressed. I am a man, but I've dressed a female. They will arrest me. This is what the bill is saying clearly. So you can clearly see indirectly the bill is telling you that Ghana, we do not agree to the fact that we have plenty gender within the country. So it's clearly saying that the moment you dress contrary to the gender or the sex given to you at birth, you have to be arrested. So you can see that there's a piece here for the country in the moment where this is trying to give some clue that yes, we have two sexes and we have two gender of male and female. You can't cross the line to call yourself a transgender or intersex or whoever that you want to call yourself, because it's saying that the moment a man would dress like a woman, they will arrest you, and a woman will dress like a man on our streets and everywhere, they have to arrest you. Because you won't say that you're a man and you have dressed a woman because you are a gender. No, it doesn't work like that in Ghana here, as far as this bill is concerned. Now, in terms of marriage, let's see what it also say. If you look at A here, persons, clause 8 of the bill says persons of the same sex. A marriage entered into, if you start from the top, which is A marriage entered into by the following persons is void. Any marriage that will have these characteristics that I'm coming to talk about, it's not part of Ghanaian culture or our marriage. So they are saying it's not part. We don't accept that. So a marriage of the same sex, when a man marries a man, Ghana, we do not accept. When a woman marries a woman, we do not accept. This is what the bill is saying. Now, a person who has undergone gender or sex reassignment. So a person who will say that I want to reassign myself. I am a man, but I want to reassign myself to become a woman. The bill is saying that we don't accept that. So clearly, the bill is saying that we only have two genders, the male and female. If you're a man, you won't say that you want to go into female activities or you want to go into whatever. If you're a man, be with female. A woman, be with a man. A man doesn't go for a man. A woman doesn't go for a woman. No. We don't marry like that in country, or we don't go into a relationship like that. A person who has undergone any other procedures like making a surgery, changing your identity, absolutely. So I, Maxwell here, want to change to become a woman. So I will go into machine, they will do the surgery, they will do the operations and all those stuff. Then you see me there tomorrow, then I'm having some wig. You see me with a nice curve and all those stuff, like a woman. And this is what. Yes, so this is what clearly it shows. This is what clearly it shows how we behave and we move. So you can clearly see the video on the screen. This is how people are changing their identity. This is what we call the transsexual. Transsexual is how they have changed their identity to become how they want to be. So you can clearly see this person has changed to become is this a snake or a python or whatever, and this man also has changed his identity to become a tiger. So you can clearly see how people are changing. So this is what Ghana, we don't prescribe, we don't ascribe to that. We don't like this. This is what the bill is saying. No, this man changed to become a dog. So you're a human becoming a dog. No, we don't want that. We don't want pansexual within our system. So a human being becoming a dog. You can't say that I am a man. Now I see myself like a dog. I walk like a dog, like a cat or a frog. So they have to go into machine to be changed, clearly like what you see on your screen. No, Ghana, we don't ascribe to that. We don't want this. This is what the bill is saying. So if you are a human in Ghana here, if you are someone here, regardless your qualities or your chromosome, maybe you walk like a man. Do not plan or do not have the intention to become like a woman. You are a woman, but you walk like a man. Don't see yourself like a man. This is what the bill is saying. You can never. Again, don't go into a machine and change and compulsory become whoever you don't want, if the state doesn't want you to be or what you want to be. So if you're a man and you see yourself as a woman, do not ever cross the line to change your identity permanently. So what you see on your screen, they have changed the identity permanently. So a man or a woman says that I want to become a dog, and they have done it. A man wants to be a woman, and they have done it. This is permanent, and this is what Ghana is not ascribing to, or that. And we have a lot of them that you can cite within the bill that we are saying here. So my producer says that let me open the phone lines. You can call the number on your screen and share your thoughts with us. I've not even seen the time itself. Wow, it's almost 8, so you can also call through. Let's pick maybe a couple of calls and see one or two things also from you. What you also think about the LGBTQI plus and the things that we have to do as a country for ourselves. So you can also call the numbers and on your screen for you to be part of the analysis and also conversation. So as I was saying that this is within the law or within the article, we have male and female. So clearly the bill is saying that we only have 2 gender, male and female, and also for sexes we have male and female. We do not have, despite the Ministry of Gender and or whatever is having gender and sexes, we have a couple of them that we need to understand. Caller, good evening, your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, I'm Enoch. I'm speaking right from the Junction Mall.
All right, let's hear from you, Enoch. Enoch, let's hear from you, please. Right, so Enoch couldn't make it. Maybe you can call through, and others also here. Now, let's see. Caller, good evening, your name and where you are calling us from. All right, I think we are not getting the callers. So there was a video that. So, caller, good evening, your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Yeah, your name quickly and where you are calling us from. Let's hear from you. Let's hear from you. Yeah.
I'm very, very happy. And good evening to you. Good evening.
Right, thank you. So let's hear from you.
My opinion or my chance to you people is that I didn't know about the law that has been passed. But I just turn on and join the conversation, and I'm very, very happy to hear this.
Thank you too for even. Right. So. Okay. So thank you for joining the conversation. And as I said, Ghana, we have passed the bill. Caller, good evening. Your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Yeah. Good evening. Your name and where you are calling us from.
Please, Mrs. Mary, calling from Aguna.
You say you are calling from where? Aguna Sedro. All right. Let's hear from you.
Thank you for your presentation. You have done a great job, and you have left me in the street and lots of things. In fact, these people are educated me, and I have received back from the that to people make the cake and the food. Thank you. But the problem here is that I have also understood that it says that there are plenty of them. It means that there's not a lot to do. Because when you think that you have left me in a stupid that it's beyond what you need, that they should do something about it. If they don't have to go by what we say, or we should go by the law, then don't you have to let them do. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you very much for calling. Maybe I can pick one or two. There's something that I want to show you clearly. Caller, good evening. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening. Your name and where you are calling us from?
Good evening. My name is Israel. I'm calling from Kaswa.
Right, Israel, let's hear from you.
Okay. I really enjoy a conversation tonight. And they are saying that when you go to Parliament, they are saying that the minority side are accusing that the bill is empty. And I want you to explain it vividly to me. I don't understand why they are saying it's empty. But the way you explain it tonight, I really enjoyed the conversation. Why are the minority caucus or the minority aspect saying that the bill is empty? Why? Can you explain it to me?
Right, thank you very much. So I think I will use some 1 minute to do the justice for you. So basically, minority are saying that there are some exemptions that they don't like. Caller, good evening. Your name and where you are calling us from? Caller, good evening. Your name and where you are calling us from?
Hello.
Yeah, let's hear from you. We can hear from you.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I really like the way you explain and express yourself concerning this gender issue.
Right.
And I give a thumbs up for you. God will choose Leslie. And bless our homeland Ghana. We pray for unity and oneness among us. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you too. Thank you too for calling. So the caller who said that they are confused about that. Let me say, for the bill, there are 4 pillars that they are claiming of. So the first one is on the lawyers. So at first, initially, for the 2021, if you are practicing LGBT, you will not have a lawyer at court. Now for 2026, it allows you to have a lawyer at court. This is the difference, one of the difference, because the Constitution, the 1992 Constitution, paves way for them. You are human. You have your right to have a lawyer. This is what the Constitution is saying. So the Constitution says that anyone, before you go to court, you must have a lawyer. So obviously, you be having an LGBT issues, you have to get a lawyer for the person to advise you or to guide you on 1 or 2 things. Not all the LGBT practitioners are people intentionally. Some people are being forced into it. So in a situation there's no lawyer, people who are being victim or forced into it may be jailed just like that. So there must be a lawyer to help people like those who are not intentionally and people force them into it to help them. So that's another reason. And for 2021, media people cannot report on LGBT issue. For 2021, media people cannot say anything on LGBTQ issue. But for 2026, journalists and media can report on it, just like what I'm doing. So as a journalist, we need to report on LGBTQ issue. If in 2021 the bill would have been passed, we cannot say anything about LGBT. Even if it is happening, journalists cannot say anything about it. Whether good or bad, we cannot say. But 2026 says that we can report on good things, who has been arrested, who is being prosecuted, what is really happening within the bill and the LGBT-related issue. Also for medical practitioners, doctors initially were not having the chance to treat LGBTQ people. And for 2026, the doctors, psychologists, and counselors, they can attend to these people because some of them will be having HIV. And before you realize, they will spread it to people who are not practicing. So we need to cure them. And these are some of the reasons why they are talking about. There will be a repeat, God willing, tomorrow. If you want to advertise on this show, just let me put my number for you, 059 2859 816, 059 59816, 0592859 This is my personal contact. We can have a conversation. I will direct you to the marketing department. Thank you for production team for making this. As I said, there will be a repeat, God willing, tomorrow. And next week, we will be continuing exactly 8 o'clock p.m. here on Bullet TV. My name is Maxwell Mensah. Good evening.